process. I had the pleasure of getting to know Sergeant Murphy and Sergeant Larry Tremblay, who are both candidates for the position of Chief of Police, and I want to commend both of those gentlemen for stepping up. Stepping up is always difficult to do, and it's difficult to do sometimes when times are tough. And I want to thank both of those people for having the courage and the honor to want to step forward. As part of the process for looking at a police chief, we conducted an assessment center. Assessment center is part of civil service. Our department is run through civil service. And all ranks and all promotions within the department are governed by the laws of civil service. So there was an assessment center that was conducted this past August. And Michael Murphy and Larry Tremblay did participate in that. And I'm pleased to report that both of those individuals received very high and outstanding scores. And I had an opportunity to interview these gentlemen and look at their ability and what their leadership and what they bring to the town. And as a result of those interviews and as a result of looking at the potential that those individuals bring to this town, I identified Sergeant Murphy as being a progressive leader and someone that I'm honored to introduce as the next chief to the town of North Reading. I think he has the vision, the leadership, the respect, and most importantly, the courage to lead the department. And for the gentlemen who are here today in blue, you could not find a better leader and chief to be Michael Murphy. My pleasure to introduce to the board as our next chief of police, Michael Murphy.
Prepare a few words, so I figured I may have to speak. So, first of all, I'd like to.
This isn't a trait that you learned from.
No, this is a short speech. I'm sure you'll all be comfortable with that. First of all, I'd like to thank the town administrator for having the confidence in me to lead this department upon Chief Nolan's retirement in the near future. Also, I'd like to thank the Board of Selectmen for your support during this process to the whole police department. As our department readies for a change in leadership, I want the community to know that we're prepared for this change. We have a succession plan in place to transition from Chief Nolan's administration to the future administration. We have a solid infrastructure and a team of professional police officers who are committed to the department's mission. As the chief of police of this department, I will provide the direction and support needed to fulfill that mission. Over the next several weeks, I look forward to meeting with community leaders, business leaders, and civic groups. I want to hear personally what the community expects from our police department. I also look forward to an opportunity to meet with the Board of Selectmen in the near future and the town administrator so we can discuss in more in-depth our short and long-term goals for the police department. As our department continues to move forward, and the chief is not here tonight, but I'd like to thank him for his 42 years of service to the town of North Reading. He's been a leader and a mentor in this department during my whole career, as well as the career of each officer in this room. His experience and expertise will be missed when he retires, but his legacy will carry on each one of us for many years to come. Again, I'd like to thank the citizens of North Reading, the town administrator, and the Board of Selectmen for your continued support for the North Reading Police Department. Thank you very much.
The board would just like to recognize your family.
Okay.
If they're here.
No, Bruce's family.
Okay.
Not your family, I'm sorry.
That's for a later date.
No, it's 27 years, right? Is that what it was?
29 years.
29 years?
29 years.
I'm sure you weren't the only one that made sacrifices, so that's the point we're trying to make, is we really want to recognize your family for the years of sacrifice they
Bruce, if you can remember their names, if you want to run down the road.
That'd be nice.
My daughter Rachel, son Eli, my wonderful wife Deborah, my brother-in-law Rob, sister-in-law Karen, and my brother-in-law Howard.
we're on the town administrator's update. You want to continue?
I do. Thank you again for everyone for being here, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just gotta shake Bruce's hand.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Absolutely. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Look forward to working with you guys.
Go run a marathon or something, right? Nice to see you. Take care. Bye now. Take care. How'd you can? Bring your company with you
Yes,
now,
I
right?
will.
Enjoy your day.
Yeah.
Bruce will carry this up for you?
One of
Might as well, right? One of the young guns?
You like, you like, you
No?
like it?
Stay on the town
That's not the right word to use, young guns. With police. That's fun.
Oh, how to-
This is your forever.
You might want to get a good background.
How you doing? You don't like with the hat on?
No.
Oh, hold on a minute. I don't need these anymore.
Okay, that's good, too.
I'm not looking at it. Perfect. Thank you very much.
See you, chief.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Yes. No, that's fine. I'm glad you did.
Thank you.
What happened to the crowd?
They're still here.
Apparently we're not the draw.
Mr. Villatonis?
Oh, sure. Let me start in on my report, if you just would refer to the yellow copy that's in your packet. I'm pleased to report that the tax foreclosure action involving property on Pine Ridge Road has been settled. And you'll note that the town has received a check for just under $64,000. Case closed. So it was resolved in a manner that was favorable to all parties. I think I previously reported that we were at the end of the road, but we actually have received payment. So that's finally the good news.
Very good.
It is good news. The town is named as a defendant in a lawsuit. You have a copy of it. It's Greenbrier Estates versus Croy. And the town is named as a interested party. We're named as a defendant because we have a lien on the property. And the town council has already entered a response on behalf of the town, maintaining that the town has a priority real estate lien over all other liens that are filed on the property. That's our only interest in the case. So our only interest is maintaining our lien status, and that's what this is all about. Pleased to report that there's discussions that are ongoing on the Regional 911 Emergency Center operated under the Middlesex County Sheriff's Office. You have a copy of a letter that was sent to the board indicating that the Sheriff's Office is in receipt of a $455,000 grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety. And the purpose of the grant is for the purposes of creating a 911 center. I'll report back on this regional initiative. Keep in mind that the discussions at this point are still preliminary. North Reading has made no commitments other than to be a party to any and all discussions, and it involves, yes, I'm sorry.
No, finish.
My recollection was Melrose, Wakefield, North Reading, Linfield, not sure the other town. Stoneham. Yeah, 911.
Yeah, it was in yesterday's Globe.
It was.
Yeah.
That they received the big grant,
Yeah.
so they stole
It
my
was all
thunder.
Middlesex County municipalities and then Linfield in
Right.
Essex County.
I am right now.
That's what we can.
Yeah, that's my goal, was to hand it off going forward. But right now, the discussion is taking place at the town administrator level, because at this point, really, it's an issue of cost. And what we need to do is determine what the costs would be and how those would be apportioned to the different cities and towns. But it's something that's worth looking at. It's a great opportunity.
Again, Essex County, that's already, it's about to come to fruition. They're gonna be operated out of the Essex County Sheriff's Department over in Middleton. And I think they have finally 6 communities participating. Originally, it was gonna be in the teens, 14 or something, but it's down to 6, I believe, and they're almost ready to start it up, I guess. So
Wow.
it'll be interesting to, maybe of interest to touch base with them to see where they're at, so that we'll have a better understanding when we're discussing participation with this one. So,
There'd be a lot to learn on what they went through.
but what they went through, there was an awful lot of, concerns expressed in relation to giving up the local authority on some of these issues surrounding 911 and, who's gonna be dispatching who and that sort of a thing. So, my guess is that Sheriff Katujian is probably talking with Sheriff Cousins over there, but I would like us to get more involved with the issue and do a little bit of the legwork and groundwork ourselves, so that when we're participating, we have a little more knowledge than we currently have.
Yeah, that's why I asked the question about who's gonna be appointment on this, because I think there's probably a little bit of work to be done in this.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done, and it's a
I'm not sure
question of,
Greg has the cycles to take the heavy lifting on this one.
My understanding is the program at this point is being run out of the Stoneham Police Department, so I think the police department is the appropriate point of contact.
well, I think our chiefs need to be, and if it's the wishes of the board, informed that it's, our desire to investigate this on a positive note, because, there may be some pushback, whether it be from the chiefs or even from the locals, from the union standpoint, in offering up some of these positions, or job responsibilities. We may have to negotiate with them and all the rest. So we need to get all the facts down first, and we need their active participation and support in ferreting, getting out those facts before we come to any conclusion as to whether we should do it or not. And unfortunately, in a lot of the other communities, what they experienced was just, forget it, too much effort. We'll just go the status quo. I think this is an effort that's worth undertaking, and I think it's something that we've been talking about, regionalization of certain functions. This is a perfect example of how we could probably do it well. But, so I think the board needs to just make sure that it's clear that we want to investigate it thoroughly before we come to any final conclusion. So, and I think that needs to be conveyed to the chiefs. If you're gonna be delegating this to the chiefs, and I don't think it should be one department or the other, but 911 is both. So it's,
I will know much more after our meeting tomorrow. Just moving on, we have received additional reimbursement for $2,500 from FEMA for the March of 2010 floods. It's money that flows into our account as general revenues. Small, but nevertheless, we'll take it. Important note is the interviews for our finance director replacement are complete. You'll recall that Mr. Tassoni resigned his position effective about a month ago. So we've moved along, and screening committee did identify the top-rated candidate, and I've since spoken to that individual and extended an offer to her. And we will be getting together this week to discuss the terms of that, and hopefully I can bring this person before the board at its next meeting, and we can have a new finance director working sometime during the month of November. So I think that, very pleased with the progress that was made, and frankly, very pleased with the quality of the candidate that I think we're gonna end up with. I think she will do a great job.
Having been part of that process, I agree with you.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you very much. And lastly, I just wanted to acknowledge a number of hirings and promotions in our public safety departments, and I gave the board a very brief memo on that. On the police department, we will be welcoming on board 2 new police officers. There'll be Michael Hennessy and Gregory Connolly. Both of the gentlemen have been working as